are we heading to the right decisions? And so the citizens must decide. And so the people of Ambazonian, as La Republique, we need to evaluate, and they have the right to do so. And in doing so, instead of La Republique collaborate and work with the citizens of Ambazonia, instead he used his repressive military over the sons and daughters of the citizens of Ambazonia. And that is why we have reached the high level that we must eliminate La Republique out of our territory. It is the will of the people to eliminate any nation that is not. And so, since we are working together, and we reach at a point where La Republique is in the depressed mode. You understand, someone in depressed mode, you have to watch him very carefully. You have to pay close attention, because those individuals are constantly scanning around the surrounding. They have mental behavior, just like La Republique. You understand La Republique? They are constantly frustrated. They are constantly scanning our environment. They are constantly dealing with it. But we have to be strategically stand firm in our decisions. Now, I can assure you, it's not long from now, La Republique will reach the final stages of Kobaro's stages of dying. The problem of acceptance. Kobaros is an efficient theorist that I admire, and that theory fit this level, and that is why we are in a point that La Republique will have to reach Kobaros theory of acceptance. In the Kobaros level of acceptance, the individual has, after depression, after bargaining, after denial, after anger, they come to realizations. Acceptance is the way to move forward. And I can assure the fellow citizens of Ambazonia that La Republique is in a point of acceptance. So what we can do is to magnify our continual pressurize using our Amba Defense Force. Make sure that we use the strategic area. We target La Republique in our territory. We make sure we dislocate every aspect of La Republique, and every individual that stand shoulder with La Republique, we need to eliminate that particular individual, because we have come to a point where La Republique will soon accept. Because when the person is going through all the stages of Kobaro's stages of dying, from denial, from anger, bargaining, depression, and then we arrive at a point of acceptance. We have used all the various power that be. United Nations absolutely failed to recognize that 1961, the office here in the United States voted overwhelmingly, recognizing the sovereignty of the people of Ambazonia. And it is not something that I make up, because when La Republique was voted in 1960, Southern Cameroon territory was not part of that document. And La Republique has no legal authority over the claim over the people of Ambazonia. And so we are in a high level of determination, and that we need to eject La Republique out of our sovereignty and use whatever means we can. It is our goal, it is our vision, and to have a government that is accountable and over the citizens of Ambazonia. We have over 400,000 citizens of Ambazonia that are languishing in the forest. Some are in Nigeria, some are dying. And we have an occupier, La Republique, in our sovereignty. And we just have to accept them and allow them to destroy our homeland. And that is why God gave us the opportunity. I am so proud to be citizens of these great nations. And we will use every talent of these nations, and then we will get La Republique out of our sovereignty. Because that is the way we must go, and that is what we must do with La Republique. And that is why I use the Kobarow stages of dying, because it is an effective way that we must follow this pattern so that we can eliminate La Republique over our sovereignty. It is imperative that we use this strategy. And we also want to thank Nikki Haley that has been elected as permanent representative to the Security Council, because United Nations is a dysfunctional organization. You all will agree with me, when Bill Clinton was the president of these wonderful great nations, the Kosovo crisis, when the Kosovo crisis erupted, he knew exactly what to do, and he immediately assigned a new strategy. And that is why the United States was able to maintain peace that is currently reigning now in Kosovo. And I cannot believe that you all are aware of Nikki Haley. And I think that she will strategize her policy to ensure that the peace and tranquility reign in the Federal Republic of Ambazonian. We are not a subject of colonial territory. We are a nation. Why can't we be able to rule our own territory? Why must we be ruled by a foreign terrorist organization called La Republique? It is imperative that Nikki Haley sees this, as she has been elected member of the Security Council, to use her visions and maintain peace and security around the world. United States may not be able to carry on all action against various nations on earth, but however their policy, by simply recognizing that they voted in 1961, United States cast their vote in 1961, recognizing the sovereignty of the people. And now the people has risen and said, no, we must stand as a nation. And therefore we are asking Nikki Haley to use her authority at the United Nations, and secondly, as the president of the Security Council, and act accordingly. And therefore, we are together. Fellow brothers and sisters, if you haven't been part of this momentum, I encourage you, because we are dealing with someone that is in depressed mood, and very soon the person will migrate to acceptance stage, according to the Cameroun stages of dying. So it is important that you follow this through, that La Republique is in depressed mood and in acceptance. And then if you agree with me, you will acknowledge that at the beginning, I talked about planned suicide by La Republique in the Southern Cameroon territory, and the plan to eliminate La Republique Anglophone serving in La Republique military. The essence of those plans was to ensure that all the Anglophones should not reveal the planned suicide mission. And so in doing so, they're going through the process of Cameroun stages of dying. And in doing so, they have reached stages of depression and acceptance. So I want to take a moment to thank all of you that are watching, and I'm sure that those who have heard the message will spread the message. So we are at the final stages of our freedom. We are a sovereign nation, but we are asking the United States to immediately and unconditionally recognize, because they voted recognizing the sovereignty of our people of Ambazonian. So it is imperative that the United States Department of Defense, U.S. Congress, U.S. Senate, the White House, we expect them to use their sense of judgment appropriately and recognize that the United States in 1961 voted for the sovereignty of the Republic of Ambazonian, and that the people and the sons and daughters all over has risen and said they want it to be recognized. As the United States that participate in that deliberations, and I think that the United States will do it graciously with good sound judgment and good reasoning. It is imperative that the sons and daughters of Ambazonia has chosen they don't want to be part of La Republique. As in this regard, I want to take a moment to thank all of you that were watching this evening. It was Funton Daniel speaking live here from the great state of Texas, here in the United States. I wish you all a happy, good evening.